Oh, hello, this is Tak Chong from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. In this video, I would like to respond to a viewer's question about what is the best rice to use for making fried rice. This viewer told me that he saw a video that they use steamed rice to make fried rice. And he asked me, is it really better to use steamed rice rather than use leftover rice? And my answer to this question is that if you want to make fried rice for the sake of efficiency, then leftover rice is the best way to do it. There are many factors that determine what makes a good fried rice. And of course, different people have slightly different opinions of what is a good fried rice. Some of this is very much a matter of personal preference. Therefore, a good fried rice for one person might not be a good fried rice for another. However, in general, people like the fried rice that the rice kernels are separated from each other. And most people do not like a fried rice that is mushy, with all the rice kernels sticking to each other. With all these factors that go into determine what a fried rice will be like, there are many approaches in making fried rice. Some are extremely simple, where some others could be quite complicated. And of course, with my fast cooking system, I want to help people to cook as efficiently and as practical as possible. And in order to make home cooking sustainable in this modern age, time saving is an important consideration. So in this video, I would like to demonstrate that using cooked rice to make fried rice is more efficient and practical than using steamed rice. Because using cooked rice, you can make a fried rice in less than 10 minutes. Therefore, you can have a dinner to have fried rice to serve on the table in a very short amount of time. And when you come home late at night, if you want to have some fried rice right away, this will help you to achieve that. In order to make a good fried rice, you should use the rice after they are cooked. They are not too mushy and wet. Therefore, a long grain rice is usually better. You can use regular long grain rice or jasmine long grain rice on the left. Or you can use basmati rice. As you notice here, when the rice first cook, they are fluffy and wet. This rice is not suitable for making fried rice because they will stick and burn to the bottom of the wok. You should let the rice to dry out. As shown in this picture, the individual rice kernels are distinct. This will make much better fried rice, and you can achieve this by storing them in the refrigerator at least overnight or longer. This rice has been stored in the refrigerator for about 3 days, and the shelf life of cooked rice is actually pretty good. It lasts up to 10 days. In addition to use it in fried rice, they warm up very well in the microwave and just eat them as it is. And for this reason, I always cook additional rice each time when I cook rice for dinner. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use cooked rice to make a very simple fried rice. Okay, let's go into the kitchen and see what we could do. I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons of canola oil in my Cuisinart 14-inch stainless steel wok. To make a good fried rice, it is very important that your wok has a good non-stick cooked surface. So in this case, it is important to season the wok with my spot seasoning method. This will make sure that your wok has a nice non-stick cooked surface. If you are not familiar with this method, you can take a look at this video. Most fried rice contain eggs, and there are many different ways how to cook the eggs to add to the fried rice. In this case, I cook the egg in advance for 2 reasons. First is I like the egg to have a relatively firm texture, so by cooking them in advance, it will allow me to scramble them better. The second reason is that the egg form a buffer to prevent the rice from sticking to the bottom of the wok. Here I add the fried rice directly from the refrigerator. This rice has been in the refrigerator for about 4 days. As notice that it is very firm and dry. And I use a tool here known as a hamburger meat chopper to break up the rice. Before I use this particular tools to break up the rice, I used to have rice all over the place when I try to break them up with my wok spatula. And it usually takes me about a minute or so to break up the rice thoroughly. And at this point, I make sure that I regulate the heat so the stove is not too hot and burning the rice. I'm going to cook this rice with some frozen vegetable mix, which I took it directly out of the freezer. You can use the amount that you want, but in this case, I used the entire 12 ounces bag. Because I'm making a relatively large portion of fried rice, that will be enough for both my wife and I for dinner. I put the frozen vegetable directly to the wok, so while I stir fry the fried rice, it will be warm up to the serving temperature. This is a relatively large portion of fried rice, so in this case, the 14-inch wok really works out well. And the wok spatula is essential because it facilitates the turning and stirring the content. The wok spatula is particularly good that you could use it as a shovel to turn the content in the wok. As I mentioned that my cooking system is designed to be as practical and efficient as possible. So in this case, I'm not only making enough fried rice for both of us for dinner, but I'm also making enough that I could have them for lunch tomorrow. I'm going to season the fried rice in 3 different ways. First, I season it with about 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. However, I have seasoned the egg in advance when I beat up the eggs. I season the egg with seasoning agents from my masala dabba. I use half teaspoon of mushroom seasoning, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, half teaspoon of lemon pepper, a quarter teaspoon of cumin, and quarter teaspoon of paprika. This will provide some nice flavor for the eggs. I also season the dish with 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. I actually never season my dish exactly the same way each time I cook. It very much depends on how I feel like on that particular day. This is an important part of flavor chasing of my fast cooking system, as I constantly improve the flavor of my dish to make it better each time. Even though I am not always successful, but I constantly learn of my flavor preferences. And this is what makes home cooking exciting, because you're constantly trying to improve and being creative. And I know this is going to be a lifelong process. And this is the reason I am always looking forward when I get into the kitchen to cook. Because I'm looking forward to the flavor that I created each time when I cook. And this is the reason that my fast cooking system is never an endpoint, but it's always in progression. So the answer to the question is that whether steamed rice is better for fried rice. I'm sure if you steam the rice perfectly, it probably will be better than pre-cooked rice. But I don't think the difference is going to be big enough to warrant for the extra time that it would take to steam the rice. And cooking is true as everything else in life is about compromises. And if you want to save time and make the fried rice cooking as efficiently as possible, then using the cooked rice is the way to go. I post a video each day to introduce my fast cooking system, which is flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and template-based cooking, to help people that they can make home cooking into a routine that they could cook every single day, with practicality, efficiency, and creativity, so that they not only cook the food that is healthy for them, as well as the food that they love. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.